Good evening, everyone. Here are some further explorations of Siddharameshwar Maharaj's teachings. As we have seen, he is very firm on this aspect of desirelessness. In fact, Nisargadatta Maharaj and Rameshji never spoke with such emphasis on it. And I think Rameshji's view on desire was the most docile and acceptance of desire and it just being witnessed as it arises. Now let's see what Siddharameshwar Maharaj says. What is heaven? To be born in the company of wise persons is itself the attainment of heaven. Consider yourself lucky if your mind becomes fed up with worldly objects. The goddess of sensuality is very fond of the human sacrifice and she likes it fried alive. The slaves of the belly cannot have the glimpse or darshan of God. Truly blessed is the one who is completely desireless. You see, what Rameshji would say is that the pursuit of happiness becomes the pursuit of true happiness when one realizes that happiness that is derived from things and objects is temporary, fleeting. So, in that sense, the desire for these material objects starts diminishing as per one's own life experience, as per the evolutionary journey of life. So it is not really something which one can do deliberately. It is something which happens based on a life experience. And of course, generally, as we grow older, the more and more we have the understanding that desires, when fulfilled, do not bring about true happiness because then there are further desires, and so on and so forth. So, Siddharameshwar ji has given a very strong knock as far as having desires is concerned in this statement. And his one-liners are most beautiful. Here he says, always remember that we are from the abode of God, and we are gods entitled to enjoy the nectar of immortality and are but visitors to this foreign town, the illusory life, for only a few days. So beautiful and poetic. And here is one straight off the bat. However, to really worship God means to please and make every being happy. That's it. So simple. Now, this is something quite unique in Siddharameshwar ji's teachings, and he has pointed it out repeatedly. This sense of being, which Nisargadatta Maharaj talks about, or the I amness, here Siddharameshwar ji presents it in a different way. He says, To better understand just how the one pure knowledge is playing about, you have only to come out of the house and at once look at the moon. With what speed does the pure consciousness rush towards the moon, out from the window of your mind? See how it pervades the whole sky in a fraction of a second. Try this. Does the mind have this much speed? The mind received the speed of awareness of the moon only through the help of this knowledge. Wherever the mind goes, consciousness is already there. What a wonder it is then that the movement of the mind seems stuck in this consciousness. You only have to open the eyelids, and the knowledge or consciousness simultaneously pervades the entire sky and the vastness that contains the multitude of stars and the moon. When consciousness travels from the eye to the moon, and one recognizes it to be the moon, this is the objective knowledge. The moon is the object, and consciousness takes its shape immediately upon knowing that it is the moon. If there is a cloud in front of the moon, the consciousness takes the shape of the cloud and is viewed as that object. Thus, consciousness pervades the cloud and knows the cloud to be an object. You see, now Siddharameshwarji goes on in this most beautiful 2 pages where he says that if we look at these objects, our eyesight does not fall on the space that exists between the object we are looking at and our eyes or eyelids, as he says. And that space is the void. To place one's attention on that is to place one's attention on Brahman, and when the attention is placed on the object, that is the Maya. He has explained it most beautifully. I won't go into it now because it's 2 pages long, but that is the essence of what he says. What is noticed is Maya, and whatever cannot be seen is Brahman. Here is another pointer. To say, I want is an insult. The honor is in not demanding anything from the illusion. To demand is to insult. Not to demand is to honor. Knowledge or jnana does not require anything except renunciation. Make a habit of renouncing everything. And this one, which I have mentioned often in my talks as well, about the content of consciousness, this is what Siddharameshwar Maharaj says. If you start analyzing others, you become one of the analyzed, a separate entity, and this is bondage for you. When you think of another person as a thief, the content of your mind is thief because you are thinking of a thief. When you speak about worldly objects, you take everything as real and behave and act accordingly. Yet, when you listen to spiritual instructions or come to understand them, you rarely keep them in your mind as true. You see, this is a very important pointer of Siddharameshwar Maharaj, because all our judgments, we don't realize that they all are arising in our own consciousness, and it is the content of our consciousness. So wherever there is a judgment, hatred, malice, jealousy, envy, blame, condemnation, likes and dislikes, and all that kind of stuff, all these are thought forms which are arising in our consciousness. It appears, as Siddharameshwarji says, that you are pointing to an object and saying he is a thief, but that word thief is arising in one's own consciousness. This is the point he is making. So, in that sense, it is not apart from oneself. It is a most overlooked point, and yet so obvious. So, really, it is an invitation he has made for us to explore the content of our consciousness. What are our repeated thought patterns about others, not only about people, about situations, about things, and so on and so forth, the dialogue in the mind. This is an invitation to look at that. It is so effortless on Siddharameshwarji's part. He goes from the sublime to the most obvious and most simple concepts throughout his teaching. There's something for the beginner, there's something for the person who has delved deep into spiritual thought and matters. And it's really a vast array of spiritual knowledge which he has placed before us. And it's really a gift, a tremendous gift. We have the blessings of this master, his teaching. And of course, I think for those of us in Mumbai, blessed to have him here. He used to give talks many times in Mumbai. His Samadhi is here in Banganga, as I've said before. His disciples, Nisargadatta Maharaj. So very grateful for this lineage here. Thank you.